designing for the long term, quality construction, detailing.
Identifying the right partner for a project. You can work directly with the suppliers, more local, tighter process.
With studios in London, New York, LA, and now Dubai, MAWD has a very truly global reach. How does that global perspective inform your approach to storytelling through design?
Welcome to the OLISE podcast. OLISE is all about showcasing the very best in luxury interiors, whether it's residential or hospitality. But we wouldn't be here without our amazing sponsors, and I'd like to take a few moments to thank them. Thanks to AB Consulting, founded by Andy Butler, he really has transformed the way construction works by offering amazing events and networking. He brings architects, engineers, designers, suppliers, and brands all together, and the energy in the room is just fantastic. I've been to their events, and people are there to learn, to share, to synergize, and also to do business. I've met some incredible people there. I wish you all the best, Andy, and thank you for supporting OLISE.
Elliot and James, OLISE really welcomes you and is so excited to hear your story and journey. First question, you guys have been working together at MAWD for over a decade. What was that one spark that kind of made you two say, let's do this together?
Wow. Well, we studied together, so we're already friends from university. And I think we're both working at different architectural firms at the time. But there was this, apart from kind of drinking together in the pub, there was this kind of spark of like, why don't we do interior architecture where we think we could add more kind of value and impact and more of an architectural twist to interiors that we create. And we were creating a lot of stuff at the time in our companies, and we're doing a lot of exterior work. And we just felt like the interior, we could contribute something a little bit different to what was being done at the time. And that was going back probably 15 years now. So
that was kind of a bit of the gap you felt like you weren't fulfilling.
I think so. I think at the time it was more architectural work was taking wasn't it? It was like 6 years to build. It was a slow process.
And we moved pretty rapidly from doing architectural work into doing large scale interiors. Suddenly we were working on a project in Palace Gardens Terrace, you remember? And that was the point, I think, where we're like, we need to start our studio, right? And we need to really evolve, and as we were working, the projects just got bigger and bigger, right? It was pretty quick, the growth that we had over the first 5 years.
Fantastic. Okay, and so working together for so many years, you kind of come up with your own rhythm as a partnership, but how have you grown individually? And then are there still moments where each of you surprise each other?
Yeah, I think when we first started, I think James was doing the invoicing. I don't even know what I was doing, maybe writing some schedules or something, but he was doing the invoicing and watching out for the cash flow. So it was...
I've forgotten that.
It was, I think my sister was doing the accounts. She reminded me of this yesterday when I saw her. So it was kind of all hands to the deck. But I think what we immediately learned was how different running a business was to being almost like a piece in the jigsaw puzzle of an architectural or interior design practice. There was like lots we didn't know and still don't know now. But I think as the company grew and you kind of ease into the role, and you have to develop skill sets that are way out of your comfort zone. Some you're better at than others, but that was kind of a big learning sort of journey process.
And through that journey, what would you say was your biggest challenge or things that you really had to push out your comfort zone to kind of make the business work?
I think the biggest thing for me was it's like managing people and personalities together with multitasking consistently.
And doing the role you have to do as an architect.
And then being, like one of the founders and actually contributing to the design work, all of the back of house stuff that went on is something, for me, I continued to, juggle, right?
Well, it's what we excel at, right? It's what we got into the industry for, to be designers. And yeah, when you're doing the invoicing and stuff, that's not really what you should be doing.
It's so good.
You got to start somewhere.
Coming in, it's so good.
Yeah, and also, architects and designers, you need to have a really good support structure, which we've built up over the years, to take that pressure off, right? So we can concentrate on the things we love doing with our clients.
And how long does it take you to get to that point where you could really focus on the things that you love, like design, like in the journey?
Still a work in progress.
Yes, yeah, it was always because we're global, but we're a boutique firm still, so we need to. There's always have to have your mind on business as well. So, but we do have that help and structure, and obviously we support each other as well. We work really as a partnership globally. So
does Elliot ever surprise you, or was he, everything about him?
Always. There's even some projects which are a surprise, and I'm sure it's the same the other way, right?
Yeah. There's only so much you can do together. And then you have to take control of the work and the projects. And then we're always checking in, but yeah, there's always a few things that just kind of slip between the net. And
yeah.
Oh, that kind of looks really good. Oh, why did you do that?
I guess it keeps it fun, right?
Yeah.
So today this interview is taking place in Marcus Townhouse. It's a very special project that you did. I'd love to hear from you guys why it's so special and what it means to you.
Well, we had an amazing client who came to us with a brief to create, a place that didn't exist. This was one of the first spaces that, kind of combined retail with the feeling of a club and a home. And I think you'll see as you go around and from seeing the building, we wanted a sense of the unexpected as you move through. So it's something that it's where the narrative of this really underpinned what we were doing. So, you'll move from space to space, there's a connection, but there's also this sense of, wow, like the staircase is just this sudden change in colour, which you wouldn't have expected.
Yeah. And the artwork as well, that's part of the presence is really...
Yeah, and this is Marcus's curation on the artwork and the objects. So these are the items and objects and artwork that he's collected.
Yeah. And for you, what does this project mean to you?
I think it's more of a journey into craftsmanship and detail and lighting as well. Display, how objects are displayed, what is their background, how do you make things come to life, and really about kind of sensibilities as well. Where do you want to tone down the design? Where do you want to kind of amp it up to help something come to life? So it's a real kind of play of like light and shadow and calm and, vibrancy, which was I think, kind of not a learning curve, but like a discovery to go deeper into for sure when we first started the project.
And your favorite room?
For me, it's the dining room. It's stunning. It's got a very special concealed wine room just off of it as well, which gives you that sense of surprise, and the Hermes fabrics on the furniture, which are always a talking point.
Yeah, they're very unique.
And it's designed to kind of host a smaller party, but to open the kitchen and have a chef, more of a kind of tasting concept that you can have in the dining room.
Yeah, great. So MAWD is known for craftsmanship and design, storytelling. What are the questions that you ask yourselves when you're starting a new project to make sure that you stay true to your design principles?
I think the first thing we do is really ask who's the project designed for. So we want to understand, whether it's the owner or the guest experience and design around that as a base. And then start layering in kind of, the story, the narrative, the project, the locality. Some designers start from the other end. We kind of start from that end. And we just like the process to coming to kind of an informed decision on why we're designing and letting that kind of play out.
So really understanding the customer, the user, the client.
Yeah, because for me, and I think a lot of the time, you can start with, okay, this is just my gut feel, or this is just my want, or this is in today. And we want to, the projects we design, like we're saying, sometimes 3, 4, 5, 6 years. So how do we make that experience authentic from the start and translate it through the years? So things go in and out of fashion, trends happen, trends come and go. How do we kind of future-proof that? So when we walk into the project, we're like, okay, so it does make sense. This is why we designed it.
Yeah.
And I think that focus on the user, on the guest, is super important, and it comes from the architectural principles that underpin what we do as well. So, yeah, really understanding the guest and understanding the buyer or the client, but then also using architectural principles of scale, of proportion, getting interior spaces right is something that our clients really, they love about our work, and it's why they like to come back to us, which is a good thing.
Definitely. So your work spans residential towers, super yachts, hospitality, and private homes. So do you approach each typography in a similar vein, or is there kind of a constant throughout all of these different sectors that you work with?
I think, as we were saying before, the kind of starting or generative process of the project is kind of the same, whether it's an end user or a guest or a client. But I think there's a sense of kind of hospitality that infuses the design work all the way through. So even if it's residential, we want to bring that kind of hospitality, kind of warmth to the project, or if it's like we've just done residences at sea, we want to bring that sense of kind of, right, there's a hospitality feel that connects all of the work together beyond the kind of principles of like why it's designed, who we're designing for.
Yeah,
exactly.
And do you see that as a trend now, that hospitality and residential is very much influencing each other? People want their homes to be more hospitality-esque, and then vice versa, hospitality wants to feel more homely. Like, do you see that as a trend, or has it always been the case?
I think it's always been there. It's something that's always been in our work. We started with private homes, but we also very early on were involved with members clubs. And having that combination of the two was something that people love about our work. But I think generally hospitality, the product has got so much better over the last 10 years. You look at the spaces, they do feel they're more experiential. You've got this, a real sense of place and brand connection in a lot of restaurants. And if you look back at some 10 years ago, they're nowhere near the quality level that you get now. And I think that influences obviously the places people go out. They want to take experiences to their home, which means, you get elements of that coming through into, that raising quality comes through to the home as well.
But I think you're saying, you want elements to come through. You don't want that full experience to come through.
Yeah,
right. So
exactly.
I think that's the trick about cherry picking and understanding, well, what is that experience that gets laid on top from places people eat, socialize, etc.
Yeah, because it's got so much more experiential now.
Same with the private residencies that are coming through. People want, all these multi-family residencies. They've now got their member clubs, their gyms, all of these facilities that perhaps wasn't so, substantial before.
Yeah, and particularly in the US. It's such a huge component of a multifamily building. We've got 200, 400 residences in there. The amenity spaces have expanded, and you can't cut and paste. You have to create an experience for that building, right, that underpins it, and you always have to find, okay, what's the latest and greatest amenities? Or what are the trends that are coming in? What do people want? Okay, people now don't want the screening room. They want the multi-family media room. So it's kind of staying on top of that and advising clients as well by staying ahead of the trends on what's happening. But it's almost like, now you're getting a club within, a club which is something that you own.
And that adds so much value to the properties and the buildings. And like you said, it has to be unique so that people want to live there, right?
Yeah.
They don't want carbon copies.
Yeah, exactly. And also, gyms, health, wellness is also becoming a bigger part of multi-family living as well, condo living, right? So you're trying to work the wellness against the social all the time, and the split between both of them, and what is that ratio. And every project we seem to go through that. No.
We also we work quite closely, with the agents and our clients to understand what's the buyer profile or the guest profile. And I think that's a big part of what we do when we think about the amenity spaces, helping to program out the space so it does appeal very directly. I think we're finding a lot when we're designing for younger demographics, the mix of amenities that we're putting in, like some of the projects that we've been doing in the US, the amenity mix is incredible. But then when you're doing a project, say in Mayfair, you're gonna have a much more targeted. You've got to use space in a different way. It's super high value, so you've got to put in the amenities that are really going to make the difference to the buyer. So I think there's that analysis and understanding is what we really like to do at the start of the project.
Yeah, I think what you're saying about working with the agents as well, working with other consultants that the client has appointed, and the developers appointed is really important as well. And getting the most out of them and their experience because they know the market inside out, and also challenging them on things as well. Like, okay, you said that. Why do we need that? What about this? It's part of the whole kind of process.
And you're based in Dubai now. You set up an office there. Is that the similar trend you see out in the Middle East?
Definitely, yeah. I think the quality level has increased massively over the last 5 years. The residential developments that are happening there's a big synergy with the branded residences and the things we're seeing in Miami. So there's a lot of crossover, and there's always a real need to make sure that the amenities are tailored, and there's more space, there's more outdoor space to use, which is a really nice thing as a designer to play with, but yeah.
And in that amenity kind of portfolio, is there anything you've done that was really, again, challenged you, surprised you that that's what the client wanted, or is it,
I think we've done nearly everything.
You cover it all.
Yeah. You've got kind of karaoke space, karaoke rooms that have come in that then, sort of double as a podcast studio. You've got these kind of micro spaces that are kind of blended in that you kind of fun one day and then more serious, the next day. But for me, it's the extent of wellness that has come in. Yeah, and I think if you look now towards wellness and bathhouse and the whole kind of sauna, cold plunge trends that have you're seeing actually members clubs being built around some of these concepts. They're now coming into multifamily as well.
To be based in there.
To be based in there, yeah. So it's not just the gym, but then it's that mixed with a holistic meditation space or a dedicated boxing room, so you don't have to go to Rumble. You go there and do your boxing, and so it's kind of cherry picking these trends and then bringing them together as a package into your own building, where you haven't got to go outside and necessarily pay for those amenities as well. You get them kind of delivered to you as part of your kind of service. Yeah.
And then in the Middle East, we're looking at rooftop restaurants, viewing platforms, spaces that really take advantage of the social side and the amazing views that a lot of these buildings have got. So actually setting up a designated space for that. It'd be nice to do it in London as well.
Okay. So you recently worked on a number of exciting projects, one being the Greenwich by Raphael Benoli, the Navigator residence at sea in the set as well. Could you share about what pushed your thinking in these projects and what challenged you? Because obviously they're very big, significant projects that are stunning. So what's your viewpoint on them?
Yeah, I think the Greenwich by Raphael Benoli was a real kind of challenge about how do you create luxury residences in a super slim tower right in the middle of Manhattan, and how do you kind of program amenities that are on the top floor of the building, which was really unique for us. So top 3 floors of the building are all amenities. It's got New York's tallest indoor saltwater swimming pool as well. So you have, normally developers don't do that, and they put all the amenities lower down the building. So that was a challenge about how do we design space that plays off the view and an abundance of natural light and changing conditions, and how do you make that feel kind of homely and special? So I thought, I loved that project, and designing the residence with these beautiful kind of curved window bays with full height glass to the ends of the units, just makes it feel kind of like endless. You get these beautiful
You kind of feel like you're in the sky.
You feel like you're in the sky. We designed the whole palette around, the earth, the water, and the sky, depending on where you went up on the tower. And then Navigator Residences at Sea is our latest project, where we've turned a cruise liner into a by residential product, essentially. Working with another two other designers, Journey and Lissonian Partners. So we're one of three designers on that project. But that was really interesting. Designing for a certain demographic that really wants to travel and actually cruise but own their residence at the same time. And it was interesting applying a lot of our principles from designing sort of super yachts as well back to kind of a cruise liner. And when you're looking at amenities, that was really interesting. So we're going to take out the casino and we're going to bring private dining rooms in, cigar lounge. So how do you make things more personable as opposed to more mass scale, which was there before? So really interesting project. And then the third one, I think you mentioned,
wasn't it? Yeah. Which again, it's demographics. It was one of the first projects, I think, where we really started zoning in on a younger demographic rental market. It's got an incredible mix of amenities and a feel that connects, I think, with that generation. That it's a space that you want to be in, the amenity space. Again, it's got incredible views, rooftop pool, but also co-working spaces. That ability to work from home was all layered into it, and so you can really, it's kind of a live, work, play space, isn't it?
It's a tower in the center of Hudson Yards, and again we put the amenities at the top of the building there, not as tall as Greenwich, but again we thought it was going to be kind of more of a younger demographic, but actually a lot of executives who work in the city, they were actually doing a lot of their big meetings out of the co-working spaces. So when you walk through there, it's all the individual rooms are booked, and you've got someone on Bloomberg and doing an interview while you're in the space. So it was kind of very, very different, a little different to what we had expected, but kind of a unique mix of kind of people in this building and project and socializing together. And
so these projects, they must take many years, right, from start to completion. So what's kind of the time frame on these kinds of projects for you?
It's varying, isn't it? I mean, traditionally, the larger buildings, the 400 units, are a longer time frame, like a 4 to 5 year. But I think there's so much movement in the market in the Middle East, in Miami. I think things are quicker. Would you say? I'm
it's still
seeing in the Middle East.
Yeah, I would say like the bigger projects are for at least 4 years, probably. But then Navigator Residences at Sea, I think we started designing at the start of the year, and the whole cruise line is going to be outfitted in November.
So that's pretty quick.
Finished in a month and launched early next year. So you've got this, we're like, how do we go from like building on land that takes that long to outfitting a cruise liner in 3 weeks? It's kind of wild.
Where's the cruise liner being built?
It's an existing vessel, so it's going to be outfitted in Italy. Yeah, based in Miami, and then it'll go around the world.
Fantastic. Just talking a bit more about sustainability and innovation, you've launched the MAWD collection, and it's a very strong statement because it's very beautiful and very functional, very elegant, and sustainable. Can you tell me the why behind the collection?
Yeah, I think it was we specified loads of, so much product, so much furniture every day in the studio. And there were kind of elements or products that were doing, a little bit of this or a little bit of that. And, probably not being so smart, we said, okay, well, how could we take a few individual pieces and really design them from the ground up, inside out, to be really sustainable, truly sustainable. And that was the kind of challenge that we went to. And we said, okay, well, what was the hardest certification we could get as well? So we found the Living Building Institute's Red List Free kind of label, something we could hit. And they would go and measure the piece, test the piece, do all of these different things to it when we had designed it and built it. So we said, okay, well, let's go for that as a standard. And then I think a year and a half later, okay, this is quite difficult. What have we got ourselves into?
It took a long time, right?
It took a long time, and it was testing, failing, and we eventually built 3 pieces. We kind of cracked the code. We didn't hire any consultants to help us, but we kind of figured it out as we went, which was kind of rewarding at the same time. And we came up with 3 pieces that actually passed the test. And I think what we wanted to do is not just greenwash. It wasn't like just, okay, we're just going to put a fabric on a sofa and just say, okay, it's a sustainable piece, that we found a lot of the mass producers were doing in the marketplace. So this was down to the glue, the staples, every single part of the chair, inside out, or the sofa, or whatever it was, to come up with a solution for it. So we did it, proved it to ourselves, and that was the genesis of the collection.
Fantastic. Your projects, they've got a clear appetite for materiality and materials. And how do you balance the innovation with sustainability, where clients are expecting a high level of luxury?
I think that's the big crossover. At the moment, we spend a lot of time going to see suppliers, meeting suppliers in the offices, and really getting to know what's the latest locally. And I think because we have our offices around the world, from the US, UK, Middle East, you need to know each supplier in each market. There's some crossover, but yeah, it's super important to be able to source as local as possible. And that's, at the same time, how do you get the quality, the luxury, the desirability of some of the pieces? So we often try and work with that list of suppliers or people that we've identified to try and push the product level a bit more, and come up with a finish together with them that hasn't been used or hasn't been done. But it's something that we work on generally we talk about it every month or so.
Yeah, and any supplier that comes in and wants to work with us, one of the questions will be, what are you doing that's interesting, with a sustainable edge to your product? And I would say over the last couple of years, probably 2.5 years, it's really come a long way from wood floors, to furniture, to fabrics. I think the industry's kind of taken note and just said, okay, what are the things that we can do easily to scrub out? And a lot of our private residential clients, they're really interested in, what are the chemicals? What's going into my home? What do I not want to? What can I do differently? What do I not want to breathe in? So it's kind of coming.
Pressure coming from all.
Yeah, it's going 360.
Better.
But to your original point about kind of luxury and sustainability at the same time, I think it's come a long way, right, in terms of the fabrics that we can use. Certainly leather products as well come a long way. But it's all really, you're led by the industry, right?
And I guess it's also the longevity of what you design. So it's like you said, it's about constantly being relevant and sustaining that beauty, as opposed to being the trends that come and go.
Yeah, I think, and not wanting to trash pieces as well. Again, we're here, it's designing for the long term, right? How do things go together well, quality, construction, detailing.
It's identifying the right partner for a project as well that can help you source in the best way, rather than having COM fabrics, coming from all over. You can work directly with the suppliers to make sure that it's more of a tighter process, more local.
Okay. So with studios in London, New York, LA, and now Dubai, MAWD has a very truly global reach. How does that global perspective inform your approach to storytelling through design?
But there's a number of ways. I mean, we always we have our company meetings every month, so we share all of our projects globally, in terms of when we talk, when we meet at the company meetings, really understand what's going on in each market.
Yeah, and we pull trends from, if James working a project in Taiwan, we're, as designers, all looking at the designs that are being produced. So something's got more of a local edge to it. It's kind of interesting because it's something maybe you haven't seen or done. So then we're like, okay, that's kind of really cool. Can we pull some of that for something we're doing in the US, or a slightly different aesthetic, or something that resonates with the project that we're doing, and vice versa. So there's always something that kind of cross pollinates kind of internationally with the work.
And then can you share a project where local culture played a big role in shaping the final outcome? And how do you approach culture nuance in a way that feels authentic and less like a decorative kind of approach?
Well, I think we've been working together in the Middle East probably 12 years plus. And within that time, we've been involved with private homes, special projects. And as part of that, you really have to get to understand your client and the sensitivities around privacy. So I think there's that part of designing private homes, which is also relevant here in London, but it's certainly in the Middle East from some of the projects that we've been involved with. You need to think a lot more locally,
and make it. And even in the US, working from the East Coast to the West Coast, or even working within the circumference of New York, right? There's every area has a different kind of locality, a different nuance that you're trying to tap into as well, and create that kind of like local edge to the project to give it kind of a grounding.
It's true. We're doing the same at the moment in Belgrade as well. So it's a project that's going to be coming up soon, and it's very much tied to the local heritage that we're bringing into the interiors. Super excited to share that one.
When's that finish?
It's in design at the moment. So
Design stage.
yeah.
So probably 5 years.
I'll wait.
No, keep cricket.
So Elliot, we've read that you're very much into biking and surfing. Two things deeply led and tied into rhythm and the environment. How do these passions influence how you see space?
Whoa.
Profound question.
They're just things I love, and particularly with cycling, it's more of a space to switch off as a designer, and then to let your brain run wild with loads of thoughts, and then come back to something that actually makes sense. Okay. So I call it
your process.
It's the giant filter.
Okay.
Yeah.
So a very long bike rides.
Yes. Yeah. So I use sport as a filter to distill, lots of different crazy ideas into hopefully one thing at the end of the ride. I'm like, okay, well, that's the one thing I can take away from this.
So you don't finish the ride until you reach that point.
Appalling metrics I've just done.
And surfing, like that's more...
Same. It's just a mental switch off. So you're sitting out there for a couple of hours, or whether you're biking for 4 hours, and you're just thinking about everything that's going through your mind, from business to design, and then you're coming out hopefully with like a couple of crystalline ideas.
Some gold nuggets.
Exactly.
Fantastic. And James, your love for architecture and history, it adds a strong sense of context to MAWD's work. How do you balance historical influence with contemporary expression in your design approach?
I was just thinking about surfing, and when you're going to give me some lessons. You going to come out to Dubai?
When you come to LA.
There's one way not to do it.
You've probably got an indoor surfing set up in Dubai. It's indoor surfing camp.
Yeah, there is. Yeah,
you just get in there and do it.
No, there is. There's an outdoor wave spaces and things you can go to. Yeah. I just need to get
no great whites to contend with.
I'm sure we can do it there. What was the question?
It's okay. Talking about your love for architecture, but also history, and how do you balance historical influence with contemporary expression in your design process?
It's a natural curiosity with historic places and areas, and something that's always been within me. I'm very lucky. We go to the south of France. We go stay very close to Le Corbusier's house and Coco Chanel in a beautiful area in France. And I think these kind of heritage spaces give you so much inspiration. And that's generally whenever we're at a point on a project, maybe we want to get some extra ideas. We'll look back and we'll look at like Villa Necchi, which you went to recently, right, in Milan. Another one that we always use as a nice reference that underpins what we do. So I think that curiosity for kind of heritage and architecture is it's kind of infused, probably also in you as well, right? Both of us have that.
Yeah, and if you look at like a space we're in now, this room, taking this apart and putting it together with historical context in mind and doing the interior architecture as well as the interior design, it kind of demands, a passion for it, I think, at the same time. You can't just make it up, you've got to really get into it and convince other people, the planning system in the UK, that what you're doing is the right thing as well with something that's, how old is this building? 200 years?
It's about 300,
yeah, 300 years old maybe, but you're doing the right thing with it. So, passion with education and just doing the work as well, yeah.
Yeah, well, you've proved them that you're right, haven't you? So luxury is constantly being redefined. What are the emerging design priorities or client expectations that you're seeing that excite you and also challenge you?
I think for me, certainly doing a lot of private homes in Los Angeles, there's a massive focus on redefining luxury as pure customization. So designing homes really purpose-built for that family or that individual, designing a kitchen that nobody's ever seen before, and pushing the boundaries with artisans and suppliers to turn that dream into a reality, which is really challenging when you're trying to create something that one of the major kitchen suppliers, high-end suppliers, has not done before. For instance, like creating really custom design is what I think our clients with big budgets, a lot of net wealth are looking for, as opposed to just these finishes are really expensive, so we're just that's where we want to go for and choose from. And
it's got to have more meaning now.
It's got to have personality and it's got to tell a story. And you got to weave all that together. That's the challenge, yeah, in luxury, I think. James, have you got any?
Yeah, it comes back to what we're saying about hospitality and experience, having those spaces that kind of evoke a feeling and bringing that to your home, but at a very high quality level. And the partnerships that we really value working, for the last 15 years, we've been working with craftspeople almost since we started to develop, and you'll see it in this room, some of the finishes and pieces that have been made just to a different quality level. I think that always underpins luxury, and it's doing that in the right way and combining it with the right story, as you were saying.
Yeah, and when we designed the super yacht as well, it's all about working with, doing luxury with craftsmanship and partners as well, and you're only as good as the partners that you bring on to the project as well, and how having them perform the high level as well. So, it's a process.
Okay. So what advice would you give to young designers or creative entrepreneurs who want to build something lasting in the world of interior and architecture?
In terms of building a firm or building a building?
Take it as you want to. Open to interpretation.
I think just have fun with building a firm. It's, we pursued our passion, and we're very, very lucky to, be in a position where we have a design firm and we're doing what we love. And, if you can follow that, it's an amazing thing to do. But also make sure to have a good business team behind you as early as you can.
And by business team, you mean accounts and finance and what do you mean? Or
Yeah. I think there's what James is saying. There's a moment in time, even when you're starting, that you have to sort of say, okay, I know I need a different type of help to grow my business. But for me, I'd say, as long as you have something to say about design, then you should follow it. Right? You've got something to say, you think you want to say it, you want to start designing space projects, starting your own firm, then do it. And don't let people who say, oh, that's going to be really difficult or hard, influence your decision, or you don't have enough money to start it. You'll find a way to do it if that's what you want to do. But you've got to have a perspective, and particularly in design now, I think it's really saturated. There's so many good designers, and you're always, as you get up, you're always competing with the the better designers, best designers, whatever it might be. So you've got to have that opinion, else you'll get lost in a sea of great things all the time.
So it's just staying authentic, I guess, to your design
Yeah,
patterns.
yeah, and as James was saying, and then knowing when is the right time to try and use additional resources to grow what you're doing and be seen, I think, more.
Because that's the tricky part when you're, you do the design well and that's your passion and that's your happy place. And then the growing a business, like you said, is all about people and admin and finance and discusses, not so exciting stuff.
And press and marketing, and how do you stand out? How do you get published? That's a really hard one, I think, when you start a business as well. What projects are you going to publish? Like, you're probably not going to have, your dream, like the dream project just come to you. You're going to have to work on smaller projects to get that dream project. So how do you publish those? Some you can, maybe some you can't. So it's a multifaceted thing. Yeah.
And if you were kind of looking back on yourselves when you were in your beginning of your careers, would you give it, what advice would you give to your younger self? I've gone a bit rogue with that one, so you can take a moment to think about it.
I think having more help early on in the process. I think because we were running, I think we were running after like 3 or 4 years, we're running a studio of maybe 50 people in 2 offices in Soho.
Yeah.
And we
had everything in house. It was a big operation, right? Very quickly.
But we didn't, again, we were so young in the process that trying to manage that as well was kind of wild. So I think it would have been like, okay, get more specific help earlier on and pay for that help as opposed to trying to do it yourself, again and again. And also, I think scale doesn't mean success as well, because once you hit scale, you have to take project after project after project consistently. I'm not saying you don't, but early on,
balance, right?
There's a balance, and I think a filter that you have to go through as well, because you want to be doing the work that suits you, not just work for work's sake.
And I think I'm balanced.
Yeah, and I think the more established you become, you have a little bit more say about what you can turn away and what you take on. And if you don't, certainly for us, right, we try and keep it international but manageable and boutique at the same time, so we can offer clients a high level of design and service all the time. I think that was a big learning lesson.
Do you agree?
Yes, definitely.
Putting words
You're on
in James's mouth.
Yeah, definitely we're on the same page with that. Particularly the quick growth and managing that was definitely something that we learned from, right?
Yeah.
But you never had doubts that you're doing the right thing and setting this up on your own is what you wanted to do?
I don't think there's any look. You can't look back. I think there's only one way, and one way is the forward way. Whether it's right or wrong, for us, we could never go back to working for somebody. It was kind of, we'd gone out on this, so it was like we had to make it work, whatever. And I think over 15 years, you take a wrong turn here, you take a right turn here. It's a bit like snakes and ladders, right? You gotta bump up the ladder, then you come down to. It's this whole kind of game of trying to progress what you're doing. And every year it presents a different type of challenge, which is kind of fun to wrestle with.
Yeah, that's the joy of business, right? So thank you so much for answering all my questions. Something though, just exclusive for the OLISE community, is there a project that's coming up in the future that you could just tell us about that perhaps is not so publicized yet?
Yeah, I think in the US we've got the Cloud One residences in Wynwood in Miami. So if you know Wynwood, it's a super artistic area within Miami. And we're working with the Goldman Gallery as well on creating artwork for the building and the interiors as well. It's kind of street art, which is really kind of cool. And it's taking a German hotel brand and doing branded residences and hotel in Miami. So that's coming up, being launched, might be launched very soon. And also more branded residences in the Washington, D.C. area as well. So that's kind of like top branded residences that we're putting together and curating, which we're doing a lot more of these days in New York.
Great, thank you.
And we've got a number of residential developments coming up in Taiwan and Asia, and also throughout the Middle East now, from Dubai through to Saudi. Something coming up very soon in Dubai, which hopefully we'll be able to talk about. And we're also very close on finishing the design for an exciting new project in Belgrade, which would be fantastic to share. Amazing residences.
And a members club in Kuwait.
Yes.
As well.
Yes.
That is nearly finished at the top of a very tall building that will be very interesting.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, so you guys are not busy at all, really. Cool. Well, thank you so much for your time. It was such a pleasure to meet you both and share your journey with the OLISE community. So thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks for having us. And we love the magazine. We're big fans and wish you all the best with it.
Great.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.